Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, December 5th, here with our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names on our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing relative strength, and ideally aren't yet too extended or away from critical bases or moves. As always, this video is powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily, curating ideas from their stock lists. You can find links to get access in the description of this video. So we discussed the market environment yesterday. If you're looking for a market recap or some thoughts on just the broad market as it got totally hammered yesterday, you can watch the last video on the blog or on our YouTube channel. This video will be all about a few names that are still holding up well, names that may not be ready today, but they're ones to pay attention to as they're showing that good relative strength. The first is Canada Goose. This comes from IBD's list. This has been featured, several times in the past here. This continues to just prop up on the relative strength sort of leadership list, and you can see here for good reason it is holding up very, very well in a market that is quite volatile and well off of its highs. We have a name like GOOS, which is trading just under all-time highs and in fact trying to break out from a multi-month base, a multi-month range. We made highs up here in June of this year around $65 or almost $70. We spent the next several months, half a year, the rest of the year, pulling back underneath it, and now you can see we are trying to lift back above it. $70 still seems to be resistance in here. We do see increased volume right now, so markets are uncertain, of course, but we do have something like a GOOS, which is holding up very well, so I'm paying attention to it. Ideally, filling in more here would not be a bad thing to me. I would want to see it hold above $62. If it can hold above $62, I'm going to keep this on my watch list. Otherwise, looking for that breakout above 70 or some reversal around the lower end of the range is what I would be looking for. So that's number one, GOOS. Next up is NXT. So this one here made an attempt to break out this week on Monday, and it did give back a lot of those gains like the market did, but it's still above yesterday's lows. It's still holding this gap, and again, showing some great relative strength and trying to resolve a multi-month range to the upside to new highs. Good volume came in on Monday. Let's see how it finishes out the week. Again, it's a longer term pattern. I like to generally wait for weekly closes when we have big ranges, big breakouts that are potentially at play. Don't worry about missing a few dollars. I'd rather get that confirmation rather than get whipsawed. So NXT, I like it here. We'll see if it can hold. Last one is Twitter. Twitter, of course, highly watched, highly talked about name. This is one that we haven't talked about in quite a while, but it is starting to look sort of interesting here. Again, it still needs to prove itself, but what we see right now is this little, what could turn into some type of bull flag here. I know we got a couple of patterns at work. If for you pattern traders, you're going to look at this as an inverted, inverted pattern right in here, starting from July, where the neckline breaking out above $36 gets you a measured move back up here, fill that gap. Or some of the more pessimistic, maybe looking at a longer kind of head and shoulders pattern, classic one here with a breakdown under 27 spelling disaster, could turn into a continuation pattern. I don't know. What I do know is that the pattern here, or the price action, has been tight. We filled this gap recently throughout this volatility, and we're starting to get on that weekly chart a move above these prior highs here. So if we can hold, so far we are not, but if we can get back above this $33 area and start clearing back above 33, 34, if you're looking for that pivot 35, that is interesting to me. That is showing some relative strength, some accumulation volume coming in here late October. So it's an interesting name. I'd favor it on still the bull side at this point, but right now it's a no touch. I'm just watching it as a potential trigger. Next up from our watch list here, we have TNDM. So this one here, best looked at as a weekly chart. I don't know much about this name at all. It is certainly a more speculative, smaller cap. I think it's still a $2 billion company. But look at this weekly chart. This thing has been off to the races this year. I don't know the story, but it's been up, what is this, 2,000% this year from, call it where did it start the year? All the way down here in around $3, ran all the way up to $50. But look at this nice pullback here. A little bit erratic, if you will, but still holding things, given the ground that it covered, it's still kind of hanging up here. It's flagging out, and it's something to pay attention to. It's a longer term name. This is a weekly pattern that we'd be looking at. Volume kind of tapering down on this pullback. So seeing a lot of kind of classic technical indicators here that you would like to see from a price action perspective. Again, don't know much about the story. It's probably a more volatile name. Clearly can cover a lot of ground pretty quickly. Above $40 looks interesting to me. MDB, this one here, again, coming from our watch list, another strong leading stock here. MongoDB, public late in 2017. It's had a nice strong uptrend all year. Recently, back in August is where it topped out around $84, $83, $84, pulled back, got back up here over the past couple of weeks of trading. It's hammered against this $84, attempting to make the breakout this week. So far, not holding, but something to watch. It's at an inflection point, $84. That's something where I would be paying attention to it. Again, this is a weekly chart. Go down to a daily chart, you see it a little more granular. Finally is RAMP. This one here, if we go to a weekly chart again, just because it shows the pattern cleanly, just tightening up underneath its highs here. Yet to be seen whether or not this turns into a continuation pattern or if this is in fact distribution and we do roll over. I do like the volume profile here on the weekly chart, seeing, you know, kind of that pickup on accumulation volume, if you will, if you believe in that type of reading. And we look here on a daily chart, you can see it just really hasn't done a whole lot. It had this small correction at the very start of when the market started to taper off, and then it's really just held pretty resilient, pretty sideways here. So waiting to see which way this ends up leaning. Good amount of volume came in here on yesterday's session. Really like to see this above $48.50 or so, maybe even above $50 to start getting a little more confidence in the uptrend, but something to pay attention to. So that is it. Hopefully you found something there. If those names fit your trading, fit your strategy, as always, do your homework. Don't rush in and buy, all that good stuff. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Every Wednesday we do the trade ideas video just like this, and if you like the videos, you can subscribe on YouTube or follow us on the Trade Risk blog. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the day, and talk to you later on.